Hi, welcome to my life in overcast, slightly drippy Central Texas. It's a little bit early in the day, but no glasses. I can see well enough to get myself in and out the door. Dyson already went back inside. He doesn't like even the lightest rain. And the big dog across the street is complaining because apparently he don't like rain either. And at least a couple of chickens are out. But the cool weather keeps those last few bluebonnets holding on. And bindweed is blooming. It's related to morning glory. It's real pretty. And it'll crawl up latticework. There's some yellow stuff blooming too, about everywhere. I got some natural light getting into my eyes. And I am, for a brief while at least, all by my lonesome. Gotta get the blue stuff in. It's blue because it's good for you. It says so on the box. I don't think it being blue, I mean, maybe because the stuff that makes it work is blue, but I don't think it's that important for it to be blue. But it is so intensely blue that even though I put my few drops of iodine in it, it just swallows that stuff up. It's like there's nothing there. You put it in coffee and you can tell you put something blue in the coffee, but that ruins the coffee. Not much deep thoughts this morning. It's a bit early for me, but... And there's yet another chicken. And a cat I don't recognize. Hello, kitty. She looked like a nursing mama, but she doesn't look like she got much in her to nurse with. So she's got a good water supply and a little bit of food. But it's Thursday, no martial arts today or tomorrow. Oh, man. It's time to go exercise my brain. The dog is waiting for me to come in. He doesn't like me to stand out in even a light rain. I don't seem to be turning my mouth blue with this stuff, so that's weird. Usually something blue has so much artificial color in it that you look at your tongue and it's like suddenly the color of the Kool-Aid you were drinking or the pie you were eating or whatever it was that was blue. Turns out that even a small amount of blue color will do that in a piece of candy. I once found some Lego brick styled candy. It was basically play brick shaped candy. And you could stack them together and do whatever and everything. And they only had pale colors in them. Just really pale pressed sugar blocks. Oh, it's getting a little more drippy. But a friend of mine in another state needed something, and as long as I'm going to send a very small package a very long distance off to Florida, yeah, Vincent, I'm talking about you, I figured I'd include some fun candy for the kids. Because when they're little, a little bit of something different is fun, right? Well, I was eating sugar back then, so I got some for myself while I was at it. I know what that did to me. So I'm sure his kids had an interesting moment or two with that colored candy. Okay. I know what that is. There's a fresh box of dog food in here, sitting on top of the fresh box of cat food. Things that need to be put in their proper places. I gotta decide if I'm gonna drink any coffee today. It's made, it's warm, I can have it, no one's here to stop me. But do I really want it? I guess I did. Yesterday had an odd moment. I was on my way to my class in the evening, and I was actually thinking of the tollway costs money. I was thinking to myself, I could save that couple of bucks. Saving a buck here and there is nothing wrong with that, you know. You don't have to live for spend convenience, right? It's just not necessary. And so I was gonna go the other way. Which would put me on the same road that the Shalando School is on. And it's toss-up most days whether I'll take tollway or not. I mean, I wasn't in a hurry or anything. But no one was in front of me at the light, so it was real easy to just go ahead and get over and get in the left turn lane and hop up on the tollway. Not a big deal. And what's probably common on most toll roads right now is you get a little thing, and when you drive through the sensor, then you pay for your use because you got a prepaid account. Cardboard goes there. Anyway, you get yourself on there and a sensor reads that your particular account can be billed for going through the sensor. Okay, there's that one. Move the giant box of cat food. The critters are a little bit out of sequence. Dog food comes in a small box. Cat food comes in a big box. And of course the dog is the one that is most likely to get entirely through a box first. What, puppy? Why do you look so worried? It's not thundering and it's not coming down hard enough to rattle the roof. When you live in a little metal box, the amount of noise the weather makes can be considerable. I finished up my blue stuff and poured some coffee in the glass. And I was saying I got on the tollway without even thinking about it. Even though I'd pretty much decided not to. No specific reason not to. Other than to save a couple of dollars. And a dollar here and a dollar there makes a difference. Plain black coffee. I need to adjust. Maybe the reason I don't like it is because it's the Houston blend with coconut in it, and I've never been a huge fan of coconut. I like Kona, not Kona blend, not, Kona decaf or anything like that. I just plain Kona, made without making a mess of it. Jamaican Blue Mountain, oh my god, that stuff's good. But I don't see the point in spending twice as much. I have even been known to drink Folgers. Believe it or not. There's plenty of coffee in the world. There's no reason not to drink what you like until the price gets insane. Now, I came back in Doggy is still worried about me because I smell like that drippy air out there. It's getting wetter. If I have to, I'll put his thunder shirt on him. That always calms him down. Oh, my glasses. It's that time of day. Need some glasses. And now it's dark. Ooh. Not really a lot on my mind today. I'm sitting here by myself. I have some supplements. I got my morning stuff in my pants pocket. Dark green stuff. I drank my collagen. I already took the plasma flow. I don't really see any reason to be on a prescription stuff that has its own side effects. And I really don't have any problem with the plasma flow. Yep. And the stuff arrived from my project this weekend. And I might have one of the boys get my wide mouth jars down from the top of the shelves, because that's better than my dizzy self climbing up on a stepladder. Not that I haven't. I mean, the food saver's up there too, and the several boxes of bag material. And I do recommend having a food saver. If you can. I mean, you can get the smaller one if that's what you can afford, but if you want to buy something in a big package, break it down and save a few bucks, you know? Why not? You're already saving a little bit on, if you eat the way I do, then you're saving on not buying vegetables you're not going to eat. I recently threw away a bunch of vegetables. I didn't buy them. But the daughter still tries to get the boys to eat vegetables regularly, and so we wind up with a half a bag of salad or whatever getting really gross in the refrigerator. Every now and then I gotta throw that stuff away. My project this weekend involves bacon, parchment paper, and wide mouth jars. Now, if you make jerky out of something, you shouldn't have to get it sealed up. But I live in a humid place, so if I take all the time to dry something, then getting it vacuum packed will keep it dry. That's not a bad thing. I do have a vacuum pack of cured beef seasoned with something I probably should not be eating, Calabrian chili pepper paste. Kind of hoping it'll have a slightly pepperoni flavor. There's a severe shortage of good pepperoni in my life. Typically what I eat is the Hormel, which is barely above store brand, pre-sliced If I could find somebody who's making good pepperoni and willing to run a batch without any fennel seed, that would be awesome. But lately I don't have time. I got my 7 Hands Ultra. You might often see people waving their bottle of whatever at a camera. Actually taking it on camera is another matter. Yeah, I don't just say I believe in these products. I use them. Anybody who has had a TIA, stroke, or cardiovascular event should be on something that acts as a blood thinner. And for the most part, that is going to be put a grounding mat on the bed and take plasma flow for me. Other people will take whatever their doctor tells them to take until we have more information. And this is sad, but even the take an aspirin every day crowd has had to change their advice. All these medical professionals for many years telling people, gotta take an aspirin every day because you're older and this problem, or you have a slight blockage here, so here, make sure you take an aspirin. Well, now they're finding that aspirin increases the risk of a bleed if you're in surgery. And it's hard for them to fight that. And you do want good flow, and you want attenuation. You want, if your blood is running along just being blood, which it should, but the point is, when it gets down to the really, really tiny spaces, whether those spaces are small because you've got a blockage, or they're small because it's the microscopically small veins on the return side of your circulatory tree. Figure that your heart is like the root crown of a tree. You've got all that before the heart, where the bone marrow and everything, where your cells are made, and then your heart actually does the pump, right? Or somebody called it something else. It's less pump and more of another piece of mechanical equipment. But you've got to have it. You've got to have it. You got to keep it in good shape. And then it goes out the arterial side, lungs, feeding the heart muscle itself, brain, all that. And after it goes smaller and smaller and smaller arteries. And then it goes from the arterial side to the venous side, which is where it's like, that's the teeny tiniest little vessels in your body. They spread through the muscles, and they really get everything out where it needs to be. And when it comes to some of the tiny places and little small joinings, there are places where the red cells get in there and they're kind of tight. Or if there's any fibrin deposits in your body. But the red cells have to get through. And under good conditions, they're kind of elasticy and they'll stretch. And the ones coming behind them will push, because that's what the arteries do, is they push. And they'll squeeze through. They'll stretch and squeeze. Every red blood cell needs to be acting like Stretch Armstrong. And you've got to be fluid enough. The plasma has to be there. You've got to have enough water in your blood that you've got the volume for it to push on. And then it comes back up through bigger and bigger veins and back through the circulatory system again. Back to the heart, the lungs, the brain, the body. You've got to have that happening. And that means that you have to stay hydrated. And you want to eat things that are good for that attenuation. You want to keep those red cells healthy, so they can do this Stretch Armstrong thing and be pushed through, get through all those tiny places. And for the longest time, people, men especially, have been told, you got to take an aspirin every day. No, you don't. You should if you're going to be in the car all day, or on a plane, traveling. Oh, you'll essentially be seated and not having enough movement. I might be seated, but I'm getting up, moving around the house, in and out with a small dog. Yeah, they finally started giving women the same advice they gave men. To take an aspirin every day. Only about, 60 or 80 years after they started telling men to take an aspirin every day. You know what? Humans are the same species. Women are not so different. We have differences in hormones, differences in a few parts of the body, but we're the same species. If you need to take care of, say you're in a wildlife park and it's your job to spot symptoms of illness, and you see a problem with your dozen lions off over here somewhere, I guess that would make you a veterinarian. But when you calculate how much medicine each lion needs, and we used to see this on Mutual of Omaha regularly enough when we were kids, right? Do they even still make that show? But Wild King. I remember that. I learned a lot about hippos, rhinos, lions, giraffes, bison, whatever. Whatever they had on that week, I was learning it. But if you figure out there's a problem with your dozen lions off in whatever part of the park, and you've got to do something to make sure they don't all wind up being unhealthy from whatever that problem is, then out comes the tranquilizer gun and the darts, and you get them all nice and sleepy. And you don't go male, dose all them, and don't worry about the females. They're all the same species. What you do is you weigh them, and you give each of them whatever dose of wormer or whatever it is they need, antiparasitics or preventive whatever, and they all get the correct amount for their size and weight. Size and weight because they're the same species. And we've got doctors taking care of humans that act as if we're all a different species. Why? Yes, you get to the endocrine system, and there will be enough differences to make it worthwhile to treat people slightly differently. Prepubescent children have to be treated differently. One of the reasons why is because their body doesn't always do predictable things. If somebody is 10 years old and has a huge gaping injury that's bleeding all over the place, their blood pressure might look completely normal. It doesn't mean they aren't lacking blood. It just means that their body is not as reactive to the injury as mine would be. If I start losing a huge amount of blood, my blood pressure is going to drop like a rock. Children, you can't count on that happening. Teens, I don't know. Could be either way. I'd have to look it up. So, yeah. Size gives you an idea if someone's an adult or not. And in the case of very short adults, our bodies won't always act like teenagers' bodies. Too bad. If it did, I'd probably lose weight better. I could eat anything when I was a teenager and stayed in pretty good shape. It was awesome. Yeah, but that's a vacuum bag material up there. Let's see if I can get, yeah, food saver bag material. And gallon-sized Ziplocs. Because gallon-sized Ziplocs are handy. And more canned vegetables than I need to have taking up space. I was listening to probably Dr. Chafee. I don't know for sure, but probably. One night while the grandson was getting himself something to eat, and he could hear what I was playing because I wasn't using a headset for that. He's like, wait, I don't have to eat vegetables? I said, well, if you eat the way I'm eating, no, you don't. So, very brief conversation. Because they know I'm eating carnivore diet. Sorry. It's a Benadryl time of year. Everything's blooming. Dog's rubbing his eyes too. He gets up on my lap and starts this business. Poor buddy. What's the matter, baby? He's not shaking. He knows it's raining. I went out with him earlier. He doesn't want to get wet, but he knows it's raining. We can't just sit out there and enjoy the day when it's raining. I don't know why not. What is it, puppy? Oh, well, I need to be doing stuff. I got the early supplements in, which includes the creatine. Might be helping my brain. I hope it's helping my brain. And the NAC, and the plasma flow, and the Stem Enhance Ultra. And I can hear a bit of a kerfluffle. So the cat may have been getting someplace where the dog doesn't figure the cat needs to be. I don't know. Oh yeah, I need to take kitchen trash out. Dog won't like that. Now we're having the kind of slow, gentle rain. Really good for the ground. I'm considering getting a weed torch. You put the 1 pound propane bottle on one end. It's got probably a piezo start. Little electric switch. Turn the gas on. Hit the trigger. And you start to burn things. Like crabgrass, which I still have. Does anybody have one? Do they recommend it? If you recommend it, let me know. That's what comments are for. I mean, obviously I can't use it under the wooden steps out back that are weathered and dried out and old and everything. Kind of like me. But, is it worth my time to think about that? I don't have one, and it would be a great way to kill the crown of the plant. In the case of some things, if the roots act as rhizomes, it might not be the most efficient thing to do. In the case of other things, it would be. I don't know. I've never had one. But it's a good way to start a brush pile if you need to burn a brush pile. I'm sure some people would just consider it a tool of arson. I don't need to think of everything in the world that needs to be burnt as a target for my enjoyment. But there are some weeds that are best destroyed in any way you can. And there are some spiders that need to be destroyed in any way you can. I was once at a gas station I used to go to fairly regularly, and I noticed as I was pumping gas that there were spiderlings everywhere. Just the fresh hatching or something. Maybe multiple hatchings, no telling. And what they were was black widow spiders. Now those things will make anybody sick. So I made sure to go in and tell them. And if you get one or two biting your hand while you're doing something, your hand might swell up. Or you might be one of those people who just reacts more than others, and you might wind up having your whole arm swell up or going to the emergency room. For the most part, one or two of those little things, most people shake it off. But the people who work there, they don't need multiple bites, and they don't need repeated multiple bites. Shush up, dog. Dyson. Oh, gosh. Anyway, especially from something that's known to be venomous. If they have a regular exterminator, they could call them to come out or whatever. I told them which pump I was at, and that it really was a lot of them. Yeah, the little green spider outside, I'm not worried about it. But the whole hatching out of black widows, fiddlebacks, whatever you want to call them, nobody needs those. But everything needs a place and a chance to be in it. So, if some of them escaped into the wild, that's cool. If they all got sprayed and killed, that's reasonable to me, because that's venomous spiders choosing to be in our space. But it's time to do other things now. And I hope everyone's out there being safe and healthy. It is springtime in the U.S., in the northern latitudes. So watch out for spiders, watch out for snakes, watch out for scorpions. Especially scorpions. Even the small ones will hurt if they sting you. Be safe and be healthy. Grandma wants you to be okay. Take care.